Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders Podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geekenders!
Hey.
Yay! Pew, 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 with special lovely guest, JoCat. I know everybody has been super excited. You were requested so many times to come on this show. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
so many people were like, you should get JoCat on here. It'd be awesome. So,
Thank you. That means so
Yeah.
much.
JoCat, if
I
you
was
don't
against
know,
it, but
I was
No,
still doing the
understandable.
thing.
It's because,
right.
Jesse, the thing is, it's because you've been such a role model to me that I am starting to surpass you. And you see me as a threat. I'm competition now.
Oh
I
my
must stress to you,
goodness.
this is not true. If anything, I years ago gave up on the idea of ever becoming like, this is for the two of you, I'm ardbirding through the rest of my life. I'm excited for other people to succeed. I'm like, hell yeah, go
Oh,
do it,
yeah.
brother.
What does that mean?
So, I'm
Ard-
ardbirding.
Ardbird, you know,
Ardbird? What does that mean?
from
Bert,
Shadowbringers.
Bert, Dodger, are you okay?
I don't remember this character.
The fuck? I have never in my life
Turn
been
off the
so
stream.
disappointed
It's
in you.
over. It's done.
I've
I
never
don't remember
been,
this
you
character. Do I need to
don't
look them
remember?
up? I'm so sorry. Do I need to look them up?
I can't believe what's happening here.
He's
I can't
John Final
believe-
Fantasy. Bloody axe. We did everything right, and it still came to this.
Oh, Ardbird. Okay.
Ardbird. Yeah.
I'm bad with names, dude. There's so many characters in Final Fantasy 14.
I have never. This is what happens when all you care about is how your cat boy looks in
Underwear.
leopard print spandex. Yeah. So
to be
the
fair,
die
though,
system putting in work now, dude.
a very important aspect of that game as well.
Thank you.
I've never been so sure a reference would land as right then. I was like, two people I know will understand this reference, and you were like,
Huh?
Ardbird? Who's Ardbird?
What?
Is a bird? What is it? Is it like a
What type of bird is that? An
What's that
Pretty
Ardbird?
lady with the long sword. What wants to kiss you?
Interesting.
Who? What do you mean? Who? One of the most. I can't even talk about without spoiling it. People haven't played. You know what?
Is he that man? What wants to kiss Cloud?
Yeah. Yep.
He is.
And that is,
Write that down.
Boy, I have never wanted to like violently shake you as much. Be like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Sure.
I've always been really bad with names.
Mm.
Is that why you call me Jessup for
No, I just like
15
calling you
years?
Jessup. I just like calling you Jessup.
Okay.
I just
Yeah,
think it's
that's right.
fun.
It's a nickname.
Right, I just thought maybe you forgot my name and we're just going with it. 'Cause
JoCat.
Yes.
For anybody who doesn't know, correct me if I say anything incorrect here, but animator, illustrator, done music, extremely talented, lovely, creative person.
Yeah, all incorrect. I've actually stolen all of them from
D&D aficionado.
another JoCat that existed
Oh,
before
no.
that wore a Wiggler hat. That I tried to find the actual headpiece that I had, but I couldn't find it.
That would have been such a good reveal.
because he's dead now.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
this is a
Instead,
scoop.
This is the skill. We're getting the behind the
new
scenes
face of the channel, my
stuff.
son.
Oh, a baby.
My son, the goblin. But yes, I am an animator. I do a variety of content, including animation, D&D, most well known for that one video that everyone says makes being straight look gay. And before that, the crap guides, which are silly satirical guides where a big buff man in a wiggler head from Monster Hunter tells you how to play stuff.
Yes, I a long time ago, I did a one shot for my in-laws. So the players were my husband, his sister, and my mother and father-in-law, and I sent them your crap guides to give them like a primer. And they thought they were very funny. So
thank you.
I wanted to make sure I told you that.
My favorite YouTube genre is, in fact, people reacting to crap guide videos.
I got to admit, sometimes I do occasionally glance at a few reactions. I'm like, it's different whenever you see someone actually watching it in real time. Like,
there's so many, but like just a ludicrous number of like,
especially
people just
recently
watching
too.
them. It's great.
Like they're like 3, 4, 5 years old now, and it's interesting that people are watching them or making reaction videos of them now. Like they've been known, but
wait, what? Reacting to what?
They
just watch the videos and they react to them. It's a thing that has been around for a while. It's amazing.
No, I understand like what a reaction is, but I'm just
I'm talking specifically these crap guides. That's what I'm saying. Like there have been a lot of people.
What is there to? I don't know. It's not that there isn't a bunch in the videos. Just like
I guess the jokes. They usually compile them because they're so short. They'll like watch them all together in like one go.
I see.
Sometimes they'll use them as a jumping off point for point of discussion. That's what Grinding Gear does. I like their reactions because they usually will pause and then talk about a thing that it may remind them of and then essentially just go on a tangent.
That's them stalling.
How long does this video got to be for the algorithm?
Is that what we call?
All right, I got to pause
original
here.
Discussion now. We call it stalling.
Yeah. All I want to see is them talk about the thing that I like. Their original thoughts don't matter to me. Get out of here with those. Go back to video. Yeah.
Why pause? If only there was some sort of way I could watch original video without pause.
You mean I gotta fast forward? Yeah.
Making me work for my content.
Frankly, I don't like it. Yeah.
Yep.
But yes, it is interesting that they've been out for years, and now I guess the reaction meta is, I don't know.
Have you been following like the new the D&D patch, so to speak?
Only vaguely. I want to like look over them all whenever the new book comes out, but I've heard mixed things. I heard Ranger's still bad. I heard they made Paladin worse. I heard they made Rogue worse. And on one hand, it's nice because it's 5e compatible. But then on the other hand, it means you have to like look over multiple books. It's like you got the new book and then you got the old book. It's like anything in the new book. It's like, well, I don't like that one. Okay, time to look at the old book now. See if the old book is better and then take from that one. Oh, I don't like that one. I have to look at this expansion book now to see if that one's better. And it's like, makes me want to, because it's thankfully it is Creative Commons now. I want to just like take the best of the player handbook of 5th edition and like this new 1D&D. I don't know if they've come up with a name for it now. It's not 6th edition. It's not 5.5 because it's backwards compatible or whatever. And just like compile them into one book that's like, here's all the good stuff.
Yeah, it's been interesting being in a couple different games as this stuff has been coming out because different DMs are definitely incorporating it in different ways.
Oh yeah.
And it never seems to be a full like, all right, we're transferring everything over. Like there's always a couple of things where they're like, but you can still do it. You can still do this thing the way that we were doing it before, you know.
Which is nice to have options, but then sometimes it can be intimidating for new people because there's no like standardized thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff in it that doesn't make sense to me that I'm sure someone thought was cool. Like as a rogue now, the one character that I'm playing, they're like, all right, okay, so you could do this, but also you could give up some die and poison them. I'm like, Okay, but like, what if I just kill them and like, what if I just use my sneak attack and get a 22 and they die? Like, why don't I just do that? It's a weird vibe that I guess it's options, but I'm like, I just want to stab that guy in the back and kill him. I didn't want to like slowly poison him. I'm not a monster. Like, what are you talking? I don't know.
I think that's a real problem with D&D right now. It's so streamlined that a lot of encounters just boil down to who can deal the most damage the fastest. I think they desperately need like alternate like success conditions for encounters, like, I don't know, subduing them. I did like a homebrew thing where if you really want to make friends with the bad guys, they have a persuasion health bar where you have to, I don't know, talk them down or something. And I would just like them to make something like that.
You just wear them out mentally.
Yeah, because it's really cool. Like, I do like that they are adding a little bit more utility to the classes. So I hear what Jesse mentioned was that you can swap out your sneak attack damage to do, like, cripple them or poison them or, I don't know, push them away. But that's not useful when the only thing that matters is their health, you know?
It's damage. It doesn't make any... Like, you can push them away. If you're trying to, like, set up a thing... Like, if you're... I don't know if this is true, but based on my feeling, and this is literally the only thing I'm doing right now is playing a rogue, it feels like some Baldur's Gate 3 shenanigans, where it's like, yo, if you push or poison or do these things, wacky scenarios can happen. But if I'm playing just a straight up, like, we're sitting at a table or online, I'm like, we got to kill these guys because, like, Dodger has to have another 35 minutes of story, so we gotta...
Yeah, the tabletop is a lot slower than video games, so it's like, you gotta streamline that down. And yeah, I think they need to find ways to make the game more interesting than just the combat. I don't know what that is, but...
Sorry.
No, ask your question.
All I was going to ask is how much do we feel like that is the D&D system, and how much of that is how the DM uses it?
That's a constant debate that's always going on, because
that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
it's like, you could, how much responsibility of that is on the DM, and how much responsibility do we throw that on, you know, the tabletop creator for not designing it with those things in mind, you know?
Right. Like I feel like it kind of depends on the table, right? Like the players and the DM together as a whole. How much does everybody want or need mechanics for everything, you know? Right. Or like mechanics for the important things? Like you're saying you incorporated a mechanic for you know, sort of like debate and conversation and stuff with an enemy. And I think that's super cool. I would love for something like that to be written into the book. It might, you know, it might be argued that it's not necessary, but it's nice. I think maybe if you go into every combat assuming like our only option is to fight, really, you know.
But I think that brings up the idea of boy, I don't want to make the comparison because I don't remember the name, but Dodger, do you remember when we played with Steven and it was like a game that wasn't about doing damage? It was like your abilities are you're talking to the enemy and your roles are... Do you remember what that was?
The system? What system that was?
Yeah, you were a slime person that couldn't use the letter E in your in your sentences.
You're talking about Nebula Jazz. It was the fate system.
Yeah. That I think is more akin to giving you options. I do wonder if maybe the problem is because at its core, D&D is like, we're mathing. You need to get theirs to 0 before yours gets to 0. That's the point. And so a lot of the encounters end with that rather than like, and then we sent them a strongly worded letter and they stopped. I don't know if maybe that's the inherent problem, but yeah, I feel like maybe a lot of the time, it's just on the DM to like come up with the solutions of ways to do stuff, because I don't know, maybe it's like the Pirate's Code. You know what I mean? Like it's more like guidelines. D&D is like guidelines, rules, you know.
That's what it's always been. I would just like there to be them available in the book for people who want to spice up their game, but it's not like you have to implement these. It's like, if you want to do these, here are the rules for that. Here's some environmental stuff. Like if someone chops down a tree, the tree will deal this much damage in this area. If someone pushes like, like fall damage, or like I've implemented the Larian like environmental hazard thing into my games, and having a rule set for that would be good for people like me who are terrible at balance and don't know what the right amount of numbers to use for that stuff is. And then if you don't like it, you can just don't use it. I would much prefer it's there, but you don't need it, rather than you might want it, but it's not there and you have to come up with it yourself.
Right.
Did you get super into Baldur's Gate?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Oh, speaking of Baldur's Gate and me being a big fanboy of Jesse, I remember the first time in my YouTube career that I almost got to meet you, Jesse, was when you got to host the first gameplay reveal of Baldur's Gate 3 in that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Way back when. Yeah.
Yeah, way back when. And I remember because the line of that must have been super long, I got there like 10-15 minutes before and it was already packed, so I had to sit outside. And I remember you saying, it's like, guys, we have to cheer louder so people on the outside are more sad. And I was like, and I took a little selfie of me like reminiscingly looking up to you. It's like, I almost got to meet Jesse Cox.
There were
and then
so many people there. I was like,
yeah.
Look, what can I say? I wanted the crowd hype.
I almost got him to talk shit to me in my face, but I'll never get that chance.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. I mean, now we can make it happen. It's happening
right
now.
Because now you're just doing it because I asked. It's not genuine.
You're right. That's true. I wasn't going to be genuine. Yeah. I wasn't going to genuinely talk shit. You got me. Yeah.
You have to start a real beef at some point.
That's my whole goal. That's all I want in this world. Is
we have been talking about starting beef a lot over the last few sessions.
Yeah.
Sessions? Episodes?
Sessions, yeah, D&D.
The last few Geekenders sessions.
But yes, I love Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't played it all that much because life has been getting in the way. But I am in Act 3. I would die for Karlach. If anyone says anything bad about Karlach, I will murder them on the spot. Karlach is precious to me. She's so cute. How could you make a character that is so badass and also so adorable and precious at the same time?
Here's my first playthrough. Karlach all the way. Love her to death. Not gonna spoil the ending for you. It was awesome. One of the coolest things I've ever done in my entire life. I was like, let's go. Second playthrough though. Whoo, you know what? Sometimes in life, you got to go full evil, and then
and kiss the spider boy.
No, F them spider boys.
Oh, okay.
What you got to do is you then have to go Shadowheart, pure evil. And then when she's like, I'll never fall in love with you, you got to be like, I'm not looking for love. Oh, yeah, it's great. It's great. And she's like, oh, all right, then.
I respect it. I thought you were going to say Minthara. Is that her name?
Please. No, that's a whole other playthrough. Love interest.
Wow.
You have to break it. Yeah, you need Shadowheart to become pure evil and then be like, you're like your evil Lyn in your sort of Skeletor adventure. Yeah.
I had to turn down Shadowheart. It felt bad.
No.
She was the game needs to give you some kind of prompt that it's like you are about to begin a romance with this character, because I was just being nice to her. She's like, hey, like during the I don't know if this is spoilers, but basically she was like, you want to go get drinks? And I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. And then it's like she looks at you invitingly. I'm like, a look is not, use your words, Shadowheart, be honest with me. And then I was like, all right, let's go to bed. And she's like, fine. I'm like, you should have used your words, firstly, and secondly, I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's a her thing.
I'm sorry.
Like,
you should have been forward with me.
Hope people talk to me. Yeah, no. That's her problem.
No. Same thing with Gale. Someone brought up. Gale's like, hey, I want to show you some cool magic. And I was like, cool. And he's like, we're gonna bone. I'm like, what the,
no, we're
is
not.
that what cool magic? I mean, I'm not that old. Am I not hip with the lingo now?
You know what?
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna say what everyone's thinking. Shout out to Lizelle for being like, you, me, there right now. I'm like,
I appreciate that.
Yes. All right. You know what? I get where you're coming from. I understand what this is. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that you can be like, I'm not really looking for love, and she's like you said, Jesse, I'm not looking. Who said anything about love? I just want to bone. I'm horny. I'm like, I respect it. No thanks, but I respect it.
Yeah. What's cracking me up is I have a group of friends, and one of them is trying really, really hard to get with Astarion, and the rest of the group of friends have not tried to get with Asterion at all, but he will not leave them alone. Like, he's just like, wants them so bad. And then the person who actively is trying to like riz him up can't do it and keeps getting rejected. And I'm like, how?
Wow.
How does that happen? How does that happen?
Maybe you're
I
too
haven't
nice.
gotten far enough in the game to
asshole.
kiss anybody. So
It's because you got to be an asshole, and sometimes it's hard for people to be mean. Astarion likes the mean ones. He only started liking me like in Act 3 when I think I broke him down. Like, I was nice to him for so long that he started to realize, oh, this is okay then. Because like the whole time he would be like, oh, it's you. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry I don't hate children. I'm sorry I don't think murder is cool.
I don't know. If you play evil, boy, is it fun.
I want
that
to. Eventually.
Is a lot of fun. Yeah.
I want to do an evil Tav, and I want to do a good Dark Urge. That's what I want to do.
Jesse tried to do the good Dark Urge thing.
It's the best version of the game. Going Dark Urge, but being a good guy is by far one of the best experiences I've ever had in a video game. It has some of the coolest moments. I cannot stress it to you enough. Plus, I also was romancing Karlach during that playthrough. And I was like, holy shit, the writers are cooking. I told them when I went to the event they had, I was like, so you're gonna be a bad guy. Can you be a Dark Urge that like doesn't want to do Dark Urge? And they're like, oh no, give it a shot. And I did as a goof. I was like, I'm gonna be the holiest of paladins and a Dark Urge, and let's see what happens. And I'm gonna reject everything that's Dark Urge about it. And I can't believe they were like, oh, we planned for this. It's
Larian
awesome.
Thinks of everything. It's insane. I can never play another RPG again. Like, whenever I play any RPG that doesn't have like 5 dialogue options, I'm like, I can't do it. How do they do it? And I felt that way when I played Divinity as well. It's like, it's just not the same.
Sure.
I don't feel like I'm role playing.
I can't wait to see what their next game is, because it's clearly going to be something vastly different, yet they're probably going to stick with the same like Divinity, Baldur's Gate mechanic stuff, because they're very good at
they have
like,
a format they're really good at this point. Yeah.
If anything, I think Baldur's Gate 3 was lacking some of the things Divinity 2 had. Just because like some of the combos in that game where you could, all right, I'm going to make the floor wet, and then I'm going to heat that up and make steam, but then I'm going to make that into a smoke cloud of noxious gas. I was like, this is awesome. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like was not in Baldur's Gate 3 just because like mechanically it didn't fit D&D.
I was going to say, do you think that's because they needed it to cross over enough with D&D?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Jesse, I don't know what game you played. Everything, there was only fire in my game. Everything always results in fire and necrofire.
I was in Original Sin 2, my entire plan was to constantly use the battlefield to my advantage. And so I would be like, can I electrify blood? How do I, like, I would constantly be trying to like, can I freeze the blood and then cause people to slip on the blood by pushing them with that's the entire way I would do stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that game ends. Like most games, I played 150 hours and I still don't know how that game ends. Couldn't even tell you.
I would love to see them, because I feel like every game I've ever seen from them, even the really early stuff, is fantasy. I would love for them to choose a like totally different aesthetic. It doesn't have to be like cyberpunk necessarily, but just something like really different, you know?
I think they could do. I always feel like it's the problem when you do space stuff. But I would love to see them do a space property, whether it be 40K, whether like whatever the case may be. But I just don't know how you would do it justice, because in an open world kind of thing, like where would that, where would they could do KOTOR. That'd be interesting. But again, how would they, there's a lot of things they could do, but like, what would it be? Like one level's a spaceship. And like it wouldn't be the same, you know what I mean? Like you'd have to have space things.
Has there been like I feel like when people talk about a choice-based sci-fi game, a lot of times they default to talking about Mass Effect.
Sure.
And how disappointing Mass Effect wound up being in the end. If you don't agree, that's fine. I didn't play the game. All right.
I played it recently. It's yo, the best part about Mass Effect 3 is the DLC they had.
Yes.
That DLC is awesome.
That DLC is the ending. Let's be real. That's
so good.
ending of the game.
Yeah, and then Mass Effect 2 is, having played them when I got COVID. Mass Effect 1, I was kind of disappointed. I forgot that I was like, oh, it's all right. Mass Effect 2, still a flawless gameplay experience. Playing it again, I managed to get like 96% of the achievements. That's how much I played it. I was like, love it.
Damn.
And Mass Effect 3, I was like, God, this game has such a great beginning. And then it just slowly falls apart. And then they're like, but the DLC is awesome. And it is. The DLC is amazing. So,
but like, has there been a choice-based sci-fi game to that level or with that amount of popularity since Mass Effect?
Does Disco Elysium count?
I don't know that.
I haven't really played it.
Oh, it's not a space game. It's not even really a sci-fi game.
It's like futuristic, right? Well, I guess maybe not sci-fi. It's more like,
not really. It's set like, it's either modern or a bit in the past.
Gotcha. Someone mentioned Rogue Trader by the people who made the Pathfinder game.
Sure.
Maybe. Sure.
Did you guys know that?
Oh, Shadowrun. That's a classic, but that's like more. It's well known, but it's like kind of more niche. Are you asking for like big ones, like that people know?
I was just,
I don't know.
I was
I'm
just
looking,
curious
if
if anything has been in the like space sci-fi genre that's like, oh, you make your choices and your choices change stuff, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been done like cyberpunk-y or like dystopian.
Sure. But
space? I don't think so. I don't think there's been a lot of space stuff.
Oh, there was that one Obsidian RPG where it's like a satire of like a corporate run solar system. Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, yeah.
Yeah,
not Outer Wilds, which came out the exact same time.
Yeah,
but Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, which was okay. I got frustrated with the game when like you start to see the formula because it's like every single chapter of the game is like you meet the anti-corporate guys and they have a really good point, and then you meet the corporate guys and then they have something of a point. You understand of like without them, all of this would fall apart.
Sure.
But you have to choose one.
We're the law,
but then there's a
etc.
secret third one where you can get the best of both, and you have to find that secret third. And finding the secret third is so convoluted, but I'm not going to be satisfied now that I know that it's like every single chapter does that, and it's like,
sure. I must stress, or you could do it the fun way, which is from jump, murder the first quest giver, get all of his weapons, and then go on a galaxy-wide murder spree to the point where poor Ashley Birch's character is like, I don't want to come out of my room. And you're like, we got to kill people. She's like, okay. It's great. You can beat that game in like an hour and a half if you just become a psycho killer. It's true.
Amazing.
Getting the action,
yeah.
G.
I think that's what people were hoping that Starfield would be, is like the big choice space game, but then it was just another Bethesda game, which is fine if you like that stuff.
Yeah. I don't.
Oh, can I go? Oh, I was just reminded of a frustrating RPG that's not what you want. Can I go on a soapbox for a minute?
Yes.
So me and my partner, we've been playing Persona 5 for the past year because that game is a million years old. And speaking of RPGs that fucking just frustrate me, I don't understand Persona 5. It's like I don't want to say too much to spoil it, but like it'll be like, hey, this guy kicks dogs. He's the dog kicker. He's Johnny Dog Kicker, and you gotta take him down because he's evil. But also, if you want to kick dogs, though, that's fine too. If you like kicking, because like you know that it's wrong, but like you're gonna keep that in mind when you kick the dog.
Right.
And I'm like, are you Persona? Are you trying to say something or are you not? Like, it's like, okay, if you want to be a game,
it's like it's really cool if I do it though.
Yeah, like
I'm a cool guy.
If you, I don't mind games that want to give you like a fantasy for you to fulfill, even the more like taboo stuff or whatever. But it's like you can't have that and also try to be like, but remember, this is not cool. And if you do this, you're bad. But you can do it though.
Right.
It's fine.
I think about that sometimes. There are a lot of games, I feel like, where there's a plot point along the line where you're like, murder is bad. You're bad because you murder guys. And if you take a second to think about it, you're like, I've been murdering guys this whole game, though. I've been doing that a lot, though, right, guys? Like, should we talk about that?
People are being confused. When do we kick a dog? I'm basically talking about dating your teacher. Like the first chapter. Maybe this is, I don't care anymore. The first chapter is literally about the problematic power dynamics of a student and a teacher dating and how that could be abused.
Yeah.
Oh no, but you keep it in mind though. Like she acknowledges the potential power dynamic problems.
It's
But,
a little yucky, yeah.
She's hot though. I don't understand.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, if you just want to have a hot teacher fantasy, do that. Like I don't.
But
I
don't
care.
in the same game be like,
the
there's
other guy
something-
was a creep. The other guy was a creep. She's hot. I don't think you get it. Okay, I don't think you like it.
No,
I don't understand.
I
Come
guess
on,
I
guys.
don't. No.
Look at it
That's my
critically.
problem. I don't get it.
It's morally gray. Okay.
No, they acknowledge it, so they're gonna keep it in mind. So there's no problems there. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I pretended that part of the game didn't exist because I was like,
Yeah, but it's a bunch of other stuff with the game too that I'm just like, I have to keep playing though. I gotta see this to the end, but I'm not gonna rant about it forever. Maybe I'll do an unhinged, I don't know, just I don't know, monologue about it one day to anyone who will listen, and then people will be mad at me for some reason.
It's hard with a Persona game because by the time the story kicks off, you've already dedicated so much time to that game. And you're
Yeah.
That
like,
is
I'm the sunk cost fallacy of playing Persona is so intense.
It is my biggest Persona problem is every time it's like, yes, I can't wait to like get in and fight some sort of dick monster. This is awesome. And then you spend 10 hours at like going to school, meeting characters, running
No, I love
around.
that part though. I love that.
I hate it so much.
I love them making friends. I think the best part of that game is just the life sim stuff where you're just making friends, you're hanging out, you're learning about them, you're helping them through their insecurities. That's the best part of the game.
Totally agree.
It tries to say something. It's like,
This
no,
was
I want to
my
fight like the 3 nipple monster or whatever. Like I want to get to the good stuff.
this was my issue with Potionomics, I think was the name of it.
Sure.
That game, the animations in it were so good. It was such a beautiful game. The characters are so expressive and it's really, really fun. And just ruined the whole pacing of it, I think, by having a timer, like a constant timer on it. So you can pursue relationships with people, but in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm wasting potion making time. Yeah, I should be making potions right now, or like it was very frustrating because I kept thinking to myself like, but I just really want to kiss this person, and it feels like I'm wasting my time if I try to kiss this person, you know?
Yeah, it's almost in conflict.
Thought that was really frustrating.
It's almost in conflict where it promotes you to try and min-max the game to make all the potions you need at the first day, and then just spend the rest of the month just like going on dates and hanging out with people.
I just want to chill and make potions, and when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. And otherwise, I go on dates. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could have like just one free time slot dedicated to making potions that doesn't eat into the rest of your day. And it's like, okay, maybe those potions weren't enough, so now you can spend the rest of the day making more potions or going to hang out. So it's like you have a dedicated potion time.
Yeah. Timers in games have to. I don't want to say that
balance.
I don't want to say that I hate when things are timed. Sometimes it's very fun for me to like race against the clock in a very specific sort of game with a very specific sort of setting. but a game that in general has a cozier vibe to then be like, and you have 3 days to do this thing is like, and you ruined it. It's ruined for me now.
Yeah. It's like, I get it. You got to have tension, but it makes me thankful that they're adding difficulty options, I think, in their next big update.
Yes.
So that's going to be nice.
Is that, sorry, I'm looking it up right now, the Potionomics Masterwork Edition?
Yes.
Available fall 2024. I believe that's going to have all the things.
Yes.
Yeah. It's going to have voice acting. It's going to have difficulty options, quality of life updates.
I'm so excited because it's such a good game. It just needs no timers.
Potionomics is fantastic. It's true.
It's so good. Yeah. I just want there to be a mode that's like, I don't give a shit. I just want the story. I will click that. I will click that difficulty option immediately, and then just.
I'm excited for the voice acting.
Me too.
Yeah, because I'm really curious about the voice acting. Yeah,
so much reading, and I just really want to not lose my voice every time I play a video game. So I'm very excited.
Yes.
Hold on. What's the guy's?
Yeah.
I just want to know what the voice of the Walrus Man was, and why they didn't contact me. I had a solid Walrus Man voice.
The Walrus Man is such a good character.
I love him.
I could have done it.
He's one of the few characters that I've ever seen, at least in video games, ever talk about art in a way that like really gets across the feeling of like why you make art.
Oh.
Because he's talking about how, yeah, this is beautiful, but it doesn't it's not, I didn't make this with my emotions. I made it with external values in mind. And then he talks about the statue of the witch that cursed the land. It's like, yes, that is great. And that is the foundations of our land. But should it stay up there considering its origins? You know, it was built with slaves and mind-controlled goblins and stuff. It's like, should that be up there? And it's like, wow, that's interesting.
These are real world conversations that we have about real art. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the part when the sexy witch was actually a succubus.
That was also nice.
That's a good part too.
I also like that. I like when she moved into your basement and
yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good part right there. I was like, that's pretty good.
It's pretty cool.
I like
it. I like that her outfit has her thigh squish into her dress.
Yeah, that's pretty. I was like, oh, that's pretty nice right there. That's look at this. That's some animation right there.
It's
pretty cool.
I love when a game goes on for long enough that you feel like, okay, I know what this game is. And then something about how the game works changes at a point when you don't expect it to. And I think this is a spoiler, but it does happen it's one of the first like big checkpoints of the game. But yeah, the succubus moving into the basement in that game, I was like, oh, a new thing for me to incorporate into this game. You know, I love that.
Yeah, Potionomics does do that a lot, doesn't it? Like throughout the game, it'll be like, here's a new thing that will help you make potions better.
Yeah.
Here's a new thing that will give you, I don't know, more things to do in your time slot.
Right. Now that we've hit this story beat, here's how the way that you interact with the game is now changed.
Which I bet, I haven't done it yet, which I bet is going to feel terrible on multiple playthroughs, because then you've got that feeling, there's that double-edged sword of like, it's great at introducing new players because then you don't feel overwhelmed. But if you're a returning player, you're like, can I just get the plants already so I can duplicate my ingredients?
Yeah, it's like if you've sunk a bunch of time into a roguelite and you've upgraded all this shit, and then you're like, I'm going to start a new playthrough, and you're like, why am I so slow?
Garbage.
Why am I so slow? Why do I do no damage? Yeah.
That's why I can't play Hollow Knight. It's like, where's my dodge? Where's my double jump?
Where's my map? Oh my God. The lack of map. When I tried to do a replay, I was like, this is I've had so many friends because it's my favorite game ever. And I tell everyone to play it. And then they try to play it and they're like, I'm so lost. I don't have a map. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting really frustrated. And I'm like, I don't remember what that was like to not have the map.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy the exploration aspect, if you don't kind of like being lost in a game, then the whole beginning part of Hollow Knight, is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
it's very interesting. What we've been talking about is like intended experiences, you know, like Potionomics with its time mechanic, the slow start of a roguelike or a Metroidvania. it's really interesting, an interesting conversation that I like to think about with games where it's like, yeah, it sucks, or like it feels bad, or it feels fun, or it feels weird, but it's like meant to be that way.
Right.
It's always an interesting conversation, or just design problem that I think a lot of designers need to think about. And I don't envy them. The solution sometimes.
I guess
weird.
At the end of the day, it's the conversation of like, who am I making this game for? It can't be for everyone.
Exactly.
I can't be making this game for everybody. So what am I intentionally doing?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about, Jesse?
Just the idea that sometimes your intentions aren't necessary. So like if you make a game and your intention is to have one thing, but the audience is a different. It's like if you see a movie and it's very clear that it's supposed to be a horror movie, but for some reason you're laughing because maybe the acting is bad or whatever. And so the intention of what is being created is different than what people experience. And I think that's something a lot of game devs don't consider. Is a lot of the time you'll create a game and be like, this is my experience I want people to have. But then people play it and they have a different experience entirely.
Yeah.
And then that becomes what the game is.
I think that's what happened with Far Cry 3, where like the writer was like, it's a story about this. And then everyone's like, oh, I didn't get that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that it comes down to like who is the person playing and what their experience with games is, and it's all very subjective, because if I like a certain type of game, I'm going to see things from that sort of genre in what I'm playing sometimes and respond to that more than like, yeah, it's a shooter and you're fighting demons. It's like, yeah, but the music's a pop and I like the music. So I'm going to start playing, and then the music becomes what's important to me. And then I'm focused on that more than I am like, wow, what solid gameplay mechanics they've created.
Right. I guess this is sort of an age-old just art conversation, right? Like you've created the art, and now how people interact with it has nothing to do with you anymore.
Yeah.
The thing that's really different about video games is that it's become very normalized to patch them, add to them, etc., right? So I think unlike a painting or a novel, you can complain about a novel and you can complain about a painting, but it would be a very, very rare day that anything would change about that painting or novel with the criticism, right? Whereas with a game, I think a lot of times game devs have to feel like they have to look at the criticism and be like, is there something here that we can incorporate into a change?
Yeah. That's the thing I feel like a lot of people don't understand, is when it comes to changes being implemented in games, it's not enough to just be changes that everyone wants, because there are people on the dev team that want something out of the game as well, you know, like as pretentious as it sounds, their artistic vision, you know, like it's like the things that get implemented are, I believe, maybe this is a gross simplification, but like a thing the dev wants, something that the players want, and then the thing they have the resources for. And when all three of those combine, that's a change that's added into the game. And that rarely, that's why we don't see that many changes, is because those three often don't align.
Yeah. And what sucks is that a lot of time changes are made to games for reasons that are less than like fan friendly, we'll say. A lot of the time there's a corporate reason why something needs to be changed. And so it's weird because you want to say, oh, well, the reason this exists is because some artistic thing. But no, it's because they were trying to get you to play longer or spend money or get a DLC or something. Yeah. And so, you know, sometimes it doesn't seem even fair to be like, well, this game, this is what's wrong with it. And it's like, I'm pretty sure that the devs knew that was wrong. But like the guy with the money said do it. So, yeah.
It's like we only see the finished product. We don't see like the hours that go into, I don't know, some poor programmer on their computer for 20 hours trying to get a single, I don't know, staircase to work. And so they couldn't. And now there's nothing but elevators in the game
Right.
Why did you make this choice? Please don't ask me that.
This game only has elevators. That's interesting. Why are there no stairs? I feel like that makes the world not very immersive. And it's like, I know.
Yeah.
I'm aware I just needed to move on, or this game was never going to get finished.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
So easy for us as the consumer to say.
Sure.
Of course, that's not to say the criticism is invalid, and I don't think developers would say that either. But it's like, it's important to understand the context, and that we don't know, you know? We don't know what goes on. We don't know everything.
And you're right.
I know very few things.
An important part of the Venn diagram is like, is this change that the consumer wants also something that the developer wants or thinks is good for this thing that they've made, right? That they've poured all of this love into.
Or actually, there's a fourth one, the publisher / producer
right?
/ whatever.
Does the
as well.
publisher think it's a good idea?
Yeah. We gotta bring it up the chain.
There is, like, I can talk about this now. I think I'm working on the video still, but I can talk about it. So they have put out footage of Star Wars Outlaws, and people out there are talking about. So I definitely can say some things. So I got a chance to play some of it, and there's some, going back to what we were talking about, there's some weird like choices that don't make a lot of sense. One of the ones that immediately sticks out to me is you're going around, cool Star Wars smuggler. You have a little pistol. It's like, awesome. This is cool. Can't wait to like sneak around and do stuff. Some sneak missions, if you get caught, shoot out. Some sneak missions, if you get caught, they just boot you out, and then you have to do it again. I'm like, wait, how will I know which is which? You won't until you get caught. Then there's some where if I shoot a guy or knock a guy out and I take his gun, I'm like, oh shit, I have a blaster rifle. This is awesome. I climb a ladder, the blaster rifle stays down below. I jump down from a thing, you are only allowed to have the one weapon permanently. All other weapons you can hold just for a little bit, and then you like,
You have to drop it if you're going up or down a ladder.
That's the old Assassin's Creed way. That's how I remember Black Flag. Whenever you picked up a musket, whenever you did anything else, you just tossed it.
Like it's incredibly weird because imagine you're on a mission and it's like sneak in to this Black Sun base and you need to get this data card and it contains, but don't get caught. I'm like, okay, I won't. So I'm sneaking through, I'm knocking dudes out, everything's cool. I'm like, hell yeah. And I've cleared an entire room of guys by knocking them out or conking them on the head or whatever. And then I'm like, cool, I'm going to take one of their guns and like walk out like a badass and have their gun. I pick up the gun and then I like go touch the thing and it drops the gun. And I'm like, oh, okay, pick up the gun again, walk out, door opens, and now I'm out in public and it's like, whoa, we don't want to have a gun in public. Throw the gun down. I'm like, so my only option is to hit a guy, take his gun, shoot everyone in the place with the gun in order to get to use it. But then sometimes if I do that, I get booted out because it's like, that wasn't a shooty one. That was a sneaky round one. And you're like, what are the rules? And it sucks because the rest of the game is like kind of cool. There's a lot of stuff in there. The space stuff is fun. I was like, yo, space stuff's cool. But like some of the mechanical choices are insane. Just like insane. And I'm like, this is going to piss so many people off. I don't like it. And I'm like, the rest of the game's kind of fun.
Does it feel like it doesn't like communicate those things well to you? Is that part of the issue, or is it just feels weird?
So there's like open world bits. Like if you go to so you land on a planet, right? So you're in space, you're in a ship, you can fly around the planet and like look at stuff and do little missions and things in space, and then you land on the planet. And when you land on the planet, there's like an open world area, which is, I don't know, maybe like if you went from end to end, maybe 5-10 minutes on your little scooter bike. And then there's things to do out there, right? And maybe you'll come across like, there were some cool moments where I'm riding down and I see an Imperial ship land and then like a bunch of pirates and some Imperials get in a fight, and I sneak up behind, I start throwing grenades at both of them, and then I loot everything, and I was like, that was cool as shit. Like there's moments that are like, all right, that was fun. And there's moments where, like, if you do something stupid in town, you'll get on the Imperial, you'll be on their radar and they'll start looking for you. And then you can just sneak into an Imperial facility and, like, hack into the system and then delete your file. And I'm like, okay, that's fun. That's cute. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you'll get a mission that's like, okay, welcome to town. You're in town and you can go to the bar and you can play sabacc. You can, like, lean on the counter and listen to people chat. You can, like, walk around and it's like you can live the experience of being a smuggler. I'm like, that's fun. And then you can walk into different areas. And if I have good rep with one of the factions, they'll sell me some cool shit. And if I have bad rep, they won't even let me in. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm doing this thing. And then sometimes you'll be sent on a mission in this town area that's like, that's the bad guy side of town. We need you to sneak in there. But if you get caught, not only are you going to lose rep with them, but they're going to shoot you, so you better be careful. It's like, okay, don't get caught. So then I get in there, and I'm like, oh, a camera saw me. Oh, I didn't mean for that to happen. And you think, okay, well, I guess I got to get in a firefight. And it's like, no, a dude throws you out, and then he's like, don't come back in here again. And then you just are reloaded, and you can do it again. I was like, okay, so I won't get in a firefight. Then there'll be other missions where it's like, sneak in, don't be detected. So I'll sneak in, I won't be detected, I'll take the thing, and then I'll be like, you took the thing, and alarms go off, and then, like, 80 dudes show up, and it's like, oh, so now I'm fighting.
Okay,
now
sounds like a consistency problem.
Yeah, inconsistent for sure.
It's a weird vibe, but again, there's, like, moments of fun in there. It's going to be a solid 7 out of 10 game.
I feel like this is
what I expect for Ubisoft,
I was just going to say, I feel like this is kind of the consistent response to Ubisoft games, right? There's so much about this that's fun, but then there's just stuff in it that ruins it.
Yeah, nowadays I just kind of look at Ubisoft games as like a nice bag of chips, Whenever I don't need a masterpiece, I just want to play something that's, like, fun enough, that I can just throw on and maybe do a few things. I'm not going to binge it because they're fucking long as hell.
Like you can literally sit down. I sat down and played, like, 35 minutes of sabacc, and I learned how to play a fake game that exists in Star Wars. And I was like, yo, I'm good at this. And that's totally fine. I got what I wanted out of that experience, but it's one of those things where, yeah, as you play, the more I played, I was like, yo, I'm here for the story. This seems pretty cool. Like, this is fun. But I'm also, I want to be cool Han Solo and run in and, like, blast, like, 20 stormtroopers instead of, like, sneak into this area. And if you're caught, sneak into it again. It's like, okay, cool.
Great.
You think it's, like, messing with your immersion?
It's
like,
just
it's
a weird
taking you
vibe.
out of the experience?
Like, there's no consistency when it comes to some of the missions when the parameters are the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's sneak in, get a thing. But sometimes sneak in, get a thing means you are in a firefight, and sometimes it means you are booted out because the story says you can't get caught.
Gotcha.
So it boots you out, and then you, like, reload instead of, well, I got caught. What are we going to do now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see how that can be frustrating.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll sell well and be fine. I don't know if it's $129 sell, but
Your
feelings are valid, though.
$129 is the complete edition. Yeah.
Oh.
How much is the incomplete edition?
I'm sure the normal 70, their new quadruple A, but you can go to the website. It's $129, I believe.
Dude. Game prices just keep pushing it to see how much they could sell games for, dude.
I think I personally would be fine with the $70 price tag if they didn't also include all these, like, and also the all the skins that used to be unlockable and all of this stuff, and you can buy currency and a battle pass which you have to buy to use and unlock. Like, if they had none of that, it's like, all right, $70, inflation, whatever.
Sure.
But,
yeah, the standard edition has the base game and a pre-order bonus for $69.99. Gold edition is the base game, pre-order, 3-day early access, and a season pass. And the ultimate $129 version, base game, pre-order bonus, 3-day early access, season pass, rogue infiltrator Infiltrator bundle, Sabak Shark bundle, and a digital art book for $129.99.
You don't even get anything physical out of the $129.99. It's digital.
I don't know that.
Oh, digital art book. Oh, that's not as cool.
No.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a reason to get the $129 one. I feel like if you're gonna get the game, you should get the cheap version, but the cheap version is still $69.
Yeah, cheap in quotation marks. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a huge problem that Ubisoft has, is they consistently are like, what if we just overcharge for our games?
Right.
And I get what, like, if I had to sit down with them, I would definitely say stop making games too big. I know you make them big so you can price them big. Like, that's the whole, if it seems big, but most of the big is like a lot of stuff, but not a lot to do, which is, I still think about my time in Valhalla. I loved Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I don't know how the game ends because it was too damn big, and I will never know. I'm not going to go back and play it again. I love being like a badass redheaded Viking woman. I'm going to let you know, I don't love it that much. I'm not going to go back and play another 100 hours to figure out how it ends. Game's too big.
It's because this is supposed to be the one game you play. That's why they have season passes and battle passes and, charge you extra. You only need to play this one game, Jesse. Just this one.
And
only this one.
And for some people, that absolutely is exactly what they do. Is they spend a lot of money on one game in a world that they know they enjoy, and they just go really ham on it. And that's like I'm done with work. I'm gonna sit and chill. That's my brother, 100%. He's like, I know exactly what type of game I like to play. I don't get to play games very often. I'm gonna splurge on this one game, and I'm just gonna go ham on it and play it every night. And he loves that because he knows exactly it's going to your favorite Mexican restaurant and always getting the chile relleno, right? Like he knows exactly what he's gonna get and that he's gonna like it. So
yeah, there is definitely a market for it.
Yeah,
it's weird though that there's so many games that fall into the 100-hour gameplay category that I feel like you gotta nail them. And I think Ubisoft is just like, look, fine is okay. And that I'm very curious. The next Assassin's Creed, like, I imagine it'll be a fine game. Like, will it be good? I don't know about that, but I imagine, like, if you're into it, you'll enjoy it. Like that's where they're going, and it seems very obvious.
I think maybe this is an indicator that I'm like getting old, because I'm gonna be like, back in my day, like I'm reaching that point now where I'm like, well, how they used to do things is better. But like,
right.
I feel as though if you want to make like this game that keeps going and it's just the one game and it's got the season pass and battle pass, and just to try and capture that market, like you said, Jesse, they're getting too big. Like, just scale back the game itself. Like, if you want to make it longer, sure. You want to have more progression, sure. Make it like a, 360 era game. Because I remember the one game I played back when I was in high school was like Halo Reach. And like, because I barely bought many more games than like once a year.
Yep, same.
And I played that for like years because there was just so much good game there. But I feel like that scale of game now is like a lot easier to make than back then. So like in terms of just graphically and like mechanically, just like go back a few years. Like, if you want to keep your battle pass, you want to keep your progression, your microtransaction, all that stuff, whatever. Just like, don't make it a quadruple A. You can do everything, and there's crafting and mini games and an open world and 50 bajillion hours and tons of voice actors and all that stuff. It's just like,
I feel like the inherent problem with that is sort of like line must go up vibes, where
it is line go up.
Yeah, you can't go to your investors or to fans and be like, our next game is smaller than the last. And also, we've cut back on half of it. And even though the last game was 160 hours, this one, only 80. And you think like 80 hours is a lot of hours. It's like, no. No, it's got to go up. We got to have more crafting and more things to explore and more stuff to do. And very few times do they nail it. Right? Like, there's a few examples where, oh my God, they actually did it. It feels like this is a world I want to live in.
Yeah.
most of the time it's like, yeah, no, we got crafting, but you're gonna have to travel 5 minutes on your mount that direction where nothing is involved and go talk to the crafter, and then it's gonna send you on quests to go get extra rare ingredients from like Chorgoth, the Inviscerator, and you're like, cool, all right.
Mm.
And your 5 tabs of materials.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely a selling point for me now if a game is like 10 to 20 hours.
See, that's my problem.
I know
was
I'll
I was
finish it.
See, I was looking at it from a compromise perspective, but from a business perspective, that doesn't make any sense because it's not enough to make a profit. It has to make more profit than last year.
Right.
Mm.
It's hard to convince Suits to be like.
I'm curious what the next. So I think FromSoft said after Elden Ring they're doing a shorter, smaller game. And I'm curious what that looks like or is, because also these liars were like, the DLC it's just a Limgrave. Don't stress. It's not that big. It's not even that big. And then it was huge.
Right.
So like, I don't know how much I believe them being like, it's going to be a little small thing. Don't worry about it. But it would be interesting to see them take a different direction, because I think Elden Ring is a great example of the things you can do in a game versus, and it gives you like, so it is an RPG, right? But as an RPG, they've said the story we're telling is a story that you're going to pick up along the way. And the quests, we're not going to direct you to where the quests are. Like, that's the unimportant part. The important part is you go around, you fight monsters, you grind, you like explore. And so they can sacrifice the story bits. And there's like, and that's like one of those video game things where you figure out what people are interested in, right? And in the case of, Souls-like games, it's like, yo, I want to fight, I want to battle things, and I want some mystery that I don't really understand. And it's like, okay, this is crazy. And then I'll go watch some video on the internet that explains it to me.
Right.
And that's the vibe. And so they're like, yeah, that's what we're doing. And as long as you understand that, I think you can hone what the game is, because it's like, oh, this is what we're trying to do. Yeah, versus, I think, let's do everything.
That's what FromSoft has always been good at, is like, as much as I would love them to make like a proper RPG with like towns and citizens and you can talk with them, it's like the reason why their games are so good is because they pick a handful of things and they refine it and polish it to make it the best at doing that specific like one thing. I mean,
the point now, people are like, oh, how do you get story? You explore. You find like a random item that says like, this was America's butt cheese. And you're like, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I've been wondering about America's butt.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe them when they say they might go smaller, because that's what they did with Armored Core. Armored Core was a smaller game.
Right.
Like, it's just robots fighting. It was fairly short. I heard it was fantastic for its length, So who knows? They'll either do another Armored Core or they'll do another Souls-like that's like more contained and maybe a little bit more linear, because they're good at that too.
Yeah.
And I think the smart thing is they understand as a company what their vibe is. Mm-hmm. The question is, does that translate to other things, right? Like, can they move away from a Souls-like genre? They definitely tried with I was about to say Assassin's Creed. Oof. Armored Core. It's those damn ACs. Ace Combat, it's all up there. I got them all.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Too many ACs. But they clearly know what their vibe is and what games they're trying to make. It's very similar to what's going on with Remedy. They know like who they are as a company and what games they're making. When a company hits that stride, suddenly like they feel like they're it's like, oh yeah, they're putting out good work. And you gotta appreciate when a company understands what its product is, because they're not making it for everyone. Like, Elden Ring was not for everyone, despite everyone trying to play it because it was like the new hype thing. It wasn't made for everyone. And, I think the exact same thing with Remedy games. They're not made for everyone. And the fact that they know that and acknowledge it, I think, is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's funny, this is sort of connecting back to our Larian conversation earlier.
Yeah.
Because Larian definitely has hit a stride where it's like, we know how to make this type of game really well.
Like
so now where do they go?
Turn-based RPG with lots of choices.
Yeah, much dialogue. Yeah.
I would like it if devs, if they were going to spend such massive, not devs, but like publishers, whatever, businesses, corporations, if you still want to use this massive budget, just hone like a handful of things. Just make it really good. But I guess it's not about making it good. It's about making it profitable.
Right. Yeah.
And to make it profitable, it's got to have mass appeal. It can't be niche.
The ironic thing is the things that don't strive for mass appeal are the ones that usually at the end of the day make the most money. But on paper, you can't predict that.
Yeah.
Which one's going to land. And so it's just much easier to be like right down the middle. It's going to be a little bit of something for everybody. And it's like,
well, that's why I mean, like, that's what they mean when they say risk, right? It's like taking a risk is when you do that instead of mass appeal, because mass appeal is safe. When you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, you want to go safe.
Yeah. I mean, again, I played, I don't know, like 4 hours of Star Wars. So maybe there's something else there that I completely missed. But from what I played, I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's okay. Like, it's fine.
I'm personally looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the online complaints are very like, this isn't a girl I would have sex with. And so it's like, okay, look, I've said this before, and I absolutely hate this. Sometimes my opinions start to like meld into the world of like, oh no, this guy, he sucks, but he has the same opinion as me. Oh no.
I don't like that.
Am I the bad guy? Oh, it happens frequently now. And I'm like, I'll say something and be like, you know what? I didn't like that. That was stupid. And then I'll go look online to see it. And I'll be like, oh no. Everyone had the exact same thought as me is like, and the reason why? Women. Ruining everything.
Oh, that's the worst. I'll be like, you mentioned Mass Effect. I remember I was like, I don't like Jacob. And it's like, yeah, that's why we shouldn't have minorities. I'm like, no, wait.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, it sucks too, because I'm like, did anyone else think this? I'm like, oh no, I'm the bad guy now. Yeah, there's a lot of times where I have to be like, look, we might have agreed on this one thing, but the rest of you are like, we are not on the same page.
Yeah, no, I'm coming from a completely different place from you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You okay, Dukes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to come on the show and make everyone depressed.
No.
Yeah, are you?
Tell me about
you.
I'm not depressed.
Well, maybe not depressed, but bring down the mood. What about hidden gems? Do you guys want to share a hidden gem? Like, that you were like...
Dodger, do you want to share a hidden gem? Are you... What? Share a gem.
A hidden gem? Like a game that I think is lovely?
Yes.
I talked about it recently, but I keep recommending this game. Basically, anybody who says that they like puzzle games, I've been like, have you played Lorelei and the Laser Eyes? I talked about it a little bit on this show a few weeks back, but I'm still thinking about that game, and I haven't gone back to it because I've hit the threshold now where it feels like I'm going to have to remember so much when I go back, you know? But it's so aesthetically interesting. It does exactly what I was talking about with Potionomics, where like you think you know exactly what the game is, and then suddenly it like twists a thing and is like, and now this is what the game is. It is fully you're at a hotel and it's just been booby trapped with puzzles, and there's puzzles everywhere. And if you want to go anywhere, you have to solve a puzzle, and you have to make connections, and you have to have a notebook. And it's like, it's such an interesting game.
Now, when you said laser eyes,
yes.
I initially had the idea that she would be blasting lasers from her eyes. But this looks cool too. The aesthetic is very
Yeah, no one ever
unique.
blasts lasers from their eyes. No one does
Damn
that.
disappointing. But I'm sure this is fine too. Oh no, she does do like little like weird lasers. Right?
It's the longer you play it, the more you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What are the laser eyes? It's so good.
It looks cool.
Love it. Here.
What was the name of their first game? Something Hearts?
The dev team that did Lorelei?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I know exactly what game you're talking about. Hold on. I'm going to just click on it though,
I want to not Sonora Hearts.
Sayonara Wild Hearts. That's the one. Oh, we got there.
Great game.
Yeah, same
dev team.
If you guys like rhythm games or music-based games, wonderful game.
This is all great. Really, truly.
It's like playing a music video.
But
the greatest game ever has released, finally.
Okay. Cat Quest 3.
Cat Quest 3.
Yep.
Is out.
There's 3 of them?
You should be playing Cat Quest 3.
The newest one is
right
so
now.
good. It literally came out yesterday, and it's so good. I'm biased. I was paid by them, but it's great. it's such a good game.
Good to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the first thing I see is a buff pirate cat lady.
Yes.
I'm sold.
I'm not.
Her name is Mama Milka.
I'm not paid by them, and I wish I was, but I love Cat Quest 3. I love all Cat Quest games. I've loved Cat Quest forever and will continue to love Cat Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Forever and ever.
This most recent one is all pirate themed. It's very cute. You have a little pirate ship that you go all over the place in, and it's so fun. It's got local co-op.
You fight pirates.
Yeah.
Oh, this game is adorable.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's so good.
It's very good. I do love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what is
do I have
the game?
To play the previous? You don't have to play the previous Cat Quests.
No.
But the previous Cat Quests do have juicy, weird lore details that is very bizarre, very strange.
The game is essentially you walking around the world. You fight stuff. The combat is like really simple. You fight stuff. You find gear. And in this one, it's like each island that you can go to, there will be like there's this many treasures to find on this island or whatever. You go into a cave, and as you find stuff, it's like, oh, you found 2 out of 4 things in the cave, right? And you're just trying to find as much stuff as you can while also pursuing the story goal or not. Honestly, I started playing this yesterday and immediately went to an island where I got one shot. And I love that. I love that they were like, I don't know, some of these islands are going to be too tough for you, dude. You know? Yep. So it's very open, but in a way that still, it doesn't feel overwhelming, which open world games can feel super overwhelming to me sometimes.
You can get new weapons, get new armor. It'll change the way you fight, change the way you look. You get spells, and then you can upgrade those spells and weapons and armor and all that stuff. A lot of the quests and the stories are homages to things, are really silly. There's literally a guy this time around who's Patches.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of fun, goofy stuff in this.
Like all merchant Patches?
Like evil, I'm in your Souls-like game Patches.
All right,
shows up.
It's a good game now. All right, good.
Yeah.
A good game that's Patches.
And also it has some weird, as always, there's like a weird underneath it all story too. That's like, what is this game? It's great. Good stuff. Love it.
All of them are good. You can get all 3 of them, not to shill, but you can, I'm biased. They paid me. You can get all 3 of them on Steam as a bundle for like $20 right now, I think.
Yeah.
And they're all good.
I would wager that because the first one and the second one, you didn't need to play them together, that the third one, you don't need to play 1 and 2. And I would imagine it's the best version of them. Like 2 was significantly better than 1, like that kind of vibe. So I feel like 3 comparatively, it's been a while since I played 1 and 2, would probably be much better than the first two. It'd be like a fun place to start. Plus, it's pirate themed. The second one's fun because you can co-op and have like a little dog with you. So you can be a little cat and dog and run around. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. I highly recommend. And it's out right now. So Cat Quest 3. Big
collection is on sale. I'm going to get that. It's on sale. Hell yeah. Thank you.
The new Volgar the Viking also came out, and I was so excited to play it because I played.
Isn't that hard as shit game?
Yes, I played the first one so much, and I was really excited for the new one to come out, forgetting just how infuriating these games are.
Oh yes, go on.
Dude, because so for any of you who haven't played a Volgar game or watched somebody play a Volgar game, you're a big Viking and it's a side scroller and you walk and you can dodge roll and you can swing your sword. The options available to you are very simple. And you are basically trying to get from point A to point B without getting hit. You can find chests that have gear. Each piece of gear basically gives you an extra hit that you can take. But if you get hit and you have no gear on, you die and you start over. And if I recall correctly, in the original Volgar, you could hit continue a certain number of times, and once you hit like the final continue that you had, it would be like, all right, start over from literally the beginning of the game.
Yeah, you had lives. Yeah.
Yeah, and your save would just be wiped.
Ooh.
So instead, and there's been a lot of contention around this, in Volgar 2, there's what's called undead mode. So Volgar has been brought back to life, right? And been given the opportunity to continue living his life. And then shit goes down and yay, we're in Volgar the Viking 2, right? Every time you have to hit continue, you become a little bit more undead. And this is like a visual change that happens. And once you've hit continue a certain number of times, I think it's 6 times, you enter undead mode. And undead mode, it doesn't give you a heads up. It doesn't tell you that this is happening and you cannot turn it off. So if you have hit continue too many, quote, quote, too many times and you're fully undead now, you're invincible and you can just mow your way through the rest of the level.
That's nice.
But you can't turn it off. So say you're me and you're enjoying hitting your head against the wall and you've hit continue a million times and you, I don't know, maybe you didn't realize that those stones were checkpoints, so you kept breaking them to get extra gold. And then chat was like, those are checkpoints, you dingus. And then you're like, yeah, well then I guess we're saying fuck checkpoints. And you decide that you're not going to use any checkpoints in the game. And it was a good choice and you didn't regret it at all. And then you just kept needing to hit continue. And suddenly you were like, this is weird. Why am I not dying? How come I have all of my gear and no matter how many times I get hit, I still have my gear?
We're taking away the game from you. You don't get to play anymore.
I think I don't mind that it exists, but I wish you could say either, yeah, just be like old Volgar, just wipe the slate clean, right? Or that it told you that was going to happen, because I was really confused. I was like, I don't understand. Did I get an item? Like, what happened here to make me invincible? Mm-hmm. The game didn't tell me. So I was like, I guess I've just gotten good. I guess I'm just crushing it now. You know,
I really wish you hadn't started that story with, so there I was breaking things in the game and ignoring all the rules. And then the game dared to make me invincible after I had ignored everything. I wish you hadn't started that way. Otherwise, I would have been like totally on your side. It's like, yeah, that does suck, Dodger.
It just, this like people were talking about like kind of the relationship between dev teams and speedrunners, right? When we were talking earlier about like the Venn diagram of like what the player wants, what the dev team wants, etc. If you're trying to understand, because every time you run through, the level is going to act the same. That's why it can be so punishing, right? As you memorize like what enemy is going to be where, exactly what you need to do in different areas of the level in order to get through it without getting hit. Fingers crossed, right?
Sure.
And I don't know. It takes, if you don't realize that you're in undead mode, it takes away a little bit of that feeling of like, okay, I figured it out. You know?
Yeah.
I got to the end. I made it to the end. I did it. But if you did it because it turned on God mode for you, essentially, and you don't realize,
you know that you did?
Then you didn't really come away from it understanding exactly what it is that you needed to do, you know?
Yeah, that's why I said that they take the game away from you, essentially. You're not playing the game anymore. You're just kind of just going through it.
And again, I'm fine with this mode existing. I'm fine with it doing this. I want them to tell you it's going to happen and let you turn it off.
In some way, I think it's kind of funny and probably falls in line with them trying to do the whole like old school NES difficulty thing. But even further, the old school NES, we're not going to tell you shit, including the mode that you just picked.
So is there if you die a bunch and can you just reset and delete the save and do it again?
You can hit start, go to main menu, say you want to start a new game, delete the save, and then restart. Yeah.
If I were to guess, I can't read
did.
minds, but if I were to guess, based on the philosophy of Volgar the Viking being punishing as shit, I would assume the intention would probably be, okay, if you want to not have this God mode on, you have to start all over from the beginning and play it as intended, you know?
Mm.
But I don't know. I can't read minds, so I don't know. But if I were to try and look at it from their perspective, from what I assume, which could be completely off base, I could see that being a philosophical thing that they would want to do.
Someone in chat said that the dev has responded to the critique and said that it's there for story reasons.
There's a story? Volgar the Viking? All right. I mean, sure. Some people just want to experience the game. I guess that's valid, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I might not be explaining the frustration very well because Jesse seems confused.
I mean, no, I get it. I just feel like it's like, I guess if the point is you're supposed to play repeat, like, so if I'm on level 5, let's say, and this happens, if I delete everything, I start back at level 1, right?
Yeah, you delete everything and start from the very beginning again, yeah.
Otherwise, I can beat level 5 easily. And then we'll let you go on to the next level? Like, you'll be like, I'm at level 6?
Yeah.
Still
just be invulnerable forever?
I don't know, because the second I realized I was invulnerable, I deleted my save and started over.
Interesting.
So okay. I don't know what it's like if you get to the end, to be totally honest with you.
Okay.
Because that wasn't the way that I wanted to play. And I felt a little bit annoyed that, not that I was wasting time, but that I wasn't being given the option to play the way that I wanted to play, or being told, hey, you fucked up too much, start over, you know?
But I mean, I guess the whole point is if it is hard, they're like, start over. You know? They're like saying, 6 is enough. You know what? It's enough.
Yeah,
like, start over.
But they don't tell you that you're going into God mode.
Yeah, I think what Dodger is asking for is just some sort of
I literally just want a thing that's like, and now you are undead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
or something
the enemies
whenever you
can
select
no
the
longer
difficulty.
touch you. Yeah.
When you select the difficulty, it's like, just so you know, if you die too many times in this, you'll become invulnerable for this amount of time.
I just want the option and clarity. That's all.
Yeah. I having not seen it, I have no idea what it looks like. So in my mind, I'm like, so do you look undead? Like, surely there's a thing
But but you're slowly becoming more and more undead. So you don't have a gauge until you've played it a few times. You don't have a gauge of at what point you're done undeading, right?
Sure. Interesting.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Anyway, it's hard as shit.
I was about to say, yeah, the game's designed to be hard, so like them making a hard thing for no reason seems like right on the money. Like, I mean,
that's what I was saying. Yeah. Bolgar the Viking. Play it if you like old school difficulty.
Yes, 100%. And Knock on the Coffin Lid just came out, but I haven't played that yet. That looks very fun.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like a card-based battler. And
oh no, you shouldn't have said that. Oh no.
It's a little Slay the Spire-y, except
oh no, you shouldn't have said that. No.
Except like Creatures of the Night kind of shit.
Ever since Slay the Spire, these types of games have been my obsession, and then every time I find one, I have to like hold a cross up to it and like tell my ship crew to put wax in my ears so I don't get seduced by the siren song and lose like 3 months to it. Oh no, it looks cool.
It looks cool, right? Yeah.
Oh no, it's a roguelike too. Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wish list, because when things are on my wish list, that's how I forget about them. There you go.
Yep. So that's that guy.
That looks dope.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be cool. I haven't had a chance to check it out though.
I would like to share a hidden gem.
Yes.
Actually, do we have time? I don't know if we've been going for a while.
We should wrap up in like 5-ish minutes.
Okay. Then I will make it quick. Tavern Talk. It's a coffee talk style game that I made some. Actually, I hesitate to even say that. That I made a fan art for because I saw it and it looked cool. You basically run a tavern, and there are adventurers that come in and they tell you about their day or their insecurities and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, I'm having a rough day. I need a depresso espresso," or like, "I'm gonna go hunt some monsters. Give me something that will give me more strength."
Yeah.
And you make them a drink based on that. Check it out. It looks really cool. I'm not sponsored. I did not work with the devs. I literally made art for them because I thought it looked cool.
Oh. I've heard some good things about that game.
I've heard some great things about Tavern Talk. Did you know that there's Monster Prom characters? There's a crossover. That's right, kids. That's right.
I thought that was just promotional. Like to show off the artist whose art is really good in the game. Ooh.
There's actual Monster Prom characters in there.
Oh.
Weird. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's so wild. Tux hair.
Yeah, that's so weird.
I totally didn't bring the game up to show. I actually didn't. I didn't know that. And I call myself a super fan.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought it up. Yes, that's true. Monster Prom has its tendrils and everything. We're coming for your games, kids. We're going to get them all monstery. Oh,
it's because the characters are so good. Everybody wants to use the characters and stuff. It's very cute.
Polygeist. You know me. I created every last one. Me.
Yeah,
Jesse
you made
Cox.
all of them, right? That's
Single
what I heard.
You birthed them yourself.
That is the least true thing I've ever said in the history of things. Yeah.
What about you, Jessup? Do you have a hidden gem?
A hidden gem? Man, I don't know that I do, to be honest. My hidden gem, of course, was Cat Quest 3, I feel like, but I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of like I haven't really played. Look, all I've been playing for the last like 3 weeks is Final Fantasy 14, and I don't have any answers for you on other games. I wish I did. I just don't. That's
okay.
I'm too mainstream for y'all. I don't play any of these weird games. No, sir.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I only play the occasional indie every now and then. Like, I haven't touched on Trail yet, but I want to. It looks
I
fun.
just
I'm ready
started
to go
playing
on vacation
it.
with my wife, Wook Lamont.
I'm not hip to the kids anymore. Yeah, I mean, you could always just play Frog Detective 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Solid games.
Solid games.
Yeah, I don't. I downloaded a bunch of. Here's the thing: I downloaded a bunch of games, and I'm looking at my desktop, but I haven't played them yet, so I can't make a recommendation that they're going to be good. You know what I mean? Like I have a bunch of things where I'm like, that could be fun, but yeah, I don't know.
Dilemma.
Yeah. Did I play Thalassa, or did you heed Dodger's warnings? I definitely saw Dodger's warnings, but it didn't freak me out. So I think I'm still gonna play. I'm like, yeah, I'll play it. So, but again, I'm still trying to get this damn story in this 800-hour-long RPG. So, you know,
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie indeed.
Yeah. Well, JoCat, normally, and you can say that it's Tavern Talk if you want, but normally we have our guest suggest some homework for chat. A book, a movie, a game, whatever that you think that they should give a shot and interact with, a piece of media. Is there something that you would like to suggest, assign to chat?
Yeah, it was going to be Tavern Talk, and it still is Tavern Talk, but also, since I mentioned that, something to watch or
it could be anything. It could be literally anything, or read.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of book recommendations.
Listen to,
You're all gamers.
We are.
A lot of you probably play MMOs. I would recommend watching A Recovery of an MMO Junkie. It is an anime about a 30-year-old woman who decides to embezzle a bunch of money away from the company she works at, or implied that she did, so that she can live out the rest of her days as a NEET that plays nothing but MMOs for the rest of her life. And it is adorable. It is the most adorable, precious romance. It's about her getting over her insecurities and a budding romance with a player that she meets in the MMO that she plays. The creator of the manga is kind of a dickhead, so don't worry about it. Try and find some way to watch it. The anime is really good. More than one person worked on the anime, so you know all that kind of stuff. But it is so adorable and precious, and it's always nice to have an anime about like fully grown adults, and it's lovely. It's just lovely. Moriko, my beloved. If you're not a woman who has unkempt eyebrows and hair that hasn't been brushed in weeks, and you don't wear just like a tracksuit that you found out, and you just get food from the convenience store down the street, I don't even want to talk to you. You know, that's my kind of woman. She's great. I love her.
Amazing.
And she makes wonderful noises when she plays games. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, such noises as "oh," which is whenever she gets a good loot.
Yeah, that's a Crendor.
Yeah. She's female Crendor. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo,
exactly.
Makes the best noises. Yeah.
Well,
watch MMO Junkie.
You know what else is lovely?
What is lovely?
You. Thank you so
guys?
much for joining us, JoCat.
Thank you for inviting me.
A wonderful guest. Do you want to tell everybody where they can find you and what you're up to, if anything? Or
yes, actually, you got me at the perfect time because I have been on a hiatus that has been going on for 7 months now. Some people may know the story behind that. I'm not going to get into it, but I haven't been doing content for a long time. But I will be again returning to both my YouTube and Twitch channels on the 16th, so next week.
Oh my gosh, perfect timing.
And I am crunching to get a video done, and I'm going to release it as well as stream at next week at 5 p.m. Central Time.
Oh my goodness. Guys, go follow JoCat so that you know when he starts streaming.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Jesse, is there anything that you want to shout out?
Hey, you know what's great? Gestalt, Steam and Cinder, out now.
Yeah, Dabs.
Hope you all enjoy.
That's right. I saw that game at PAX like years ago. It looked so cool. It's come such a long way.
Thank you.
I remember the old pixel art, like the test pixel art they had for the running animations and the attacks, and
Oh my gosh, you've been following it for a while.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing it at a PAX and I was like, this game looks cool. And then I looked into the development and it's finally out. Oh, hell yeah. The animation is gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it looks.
Y'all picked a good one.
Vibe-wise.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else, Jesse? Aside from your mom calling you?
My mom calling me. I have no idea about what, but should be interesting.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Go follow Jesse. That's where all of the Geekenders VODs are. They don't stay here. They are on youtube.com/Jesse Cox. Jesse's team is also the good gang who's putting it on podcast stuff. So if you just listen to us audio only, we should be everywhere that you can listen to podcasts as well.
That's true. I'm getting bombarded. My mother is here and she's trying to get in and I can't get her in.
We'll wrap up. I'm Dex Bonus. I play games. We'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves and bye-bye. Woo!
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for the Geekenders Podcast. MegaRan, Jesse and Dodger, what up? Let's go. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow and see what the Geekenders are all about. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt. Yo, another end of another long week. Got a job and a kid, I know that you all beat. So take a second, grab a drink and vibe while we catch you up in just a matter of time. On gaming, comics, whatever you're doing. If you're nerdy like us, then you know you should tune in. Thank you for sharing our world with us. Now follow, subscribe, and turn this up. Yo, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's time to geek out. Let it begin. Go on, stream and shout. It's Jesse and Dodger, so give them a follow. #1 geek podcast, without a doubt.